When you build something from the ground up, pouring in sleepless nights, long shifts, and every dime you've saved, the last thing you expect is someone to waltz in and act like they built it. That's exactly what happened to me. And her name, Karen. I own a small but growing business. Nothing flashy. Just a coffee shop and bakery that had become the heart of the neighborhood. We weren't Starbucks, but people loved us. We knew regulars by name. We gave free muffins to kids on Saturday mornings. And our local police officers and nurses often stopped by. Because we treated them like family. One day, a woman named Karen applied for a barista position. She came in with confidence dripping off her, acting like the job was beneath her, but that I'd be lucky to have her. I should have trusted my gut right then. But we were short-handed, and she had experience, so I hired her. That was mistake number one. On her first day, she strutted behind the counter like she already owned the place. Instead of listening during training, she was busy telling my other staff how things should be run. She didn't like our system for making drinks. She didn't like the way we handled customer service. And she definitely didn't like being told what to do. At first, I brushed it off. I thought maybe she was just nervous and overcompensating. But by week 2, customers were pulling me aside saying, "Hey, is that new lady okay?" She was really rude when I asked for oat milk. Or she rolled her eyes when I asked about a gluten-free option. Karen wasn't just lazy, she was entitled. She'd show up late, disappear for long smoke breaks, and sometimes forget to clean her station. But then she started doing something worse. She began telling customers that she was the manager. One afternoon, I walked in and overheard her snapping at a delivery driver. "You don't come here without checking with me first. I run this store." The poor guy looked confused. He knew. Me, I signed his invoices. But Karen stood there with her arms crossed, like a queen protecting her castle. When I pulled her aside later and asked why she lied, she shrugged and said, "Customers respect me more when they think I'm in charge. You should be grateful I care enough to act like a manager." That was the moment I realized Karen wasn't just a bad employee. She was a problem. It got worse. Much worse. One Friday morning, I arrived at the shop earlier than usual. To my surprise, Karen's car was already there. For once, she wasn't late. But when I walked inside, I nearly dropped my coffee. She was behind the register, barking orders at my other employees, telling them to rearrange the pastry case, redo the chalkboard menu, and even scolding one of my best workers for not following her standards. The staff looked miserable. "Karen," I said, trying to keep my cool, "can I see you in my office?" She gave me a smug smile, as if she'd been waiting for this. Once the door closed, she leaned against the wall and said, "Look, let's cut the act. This place runs better when I'm calling the shots. The customers love me. Your staff listens to me. Honestly, you should step back and let me take over more responsibilities." I was floored. This wasn't a barista who wanted to learn and grow. This was someone trying to usurp me. In my own business, I told her plainly, "Karen, you were hired as a barista, not a manager, not a supervisor. If you want to earn those roles, you need to prove it. But this power trip, it stops now. She rolled her eyes. You're making a mistake. People follow me. They listen to me. One day, you'll see. I should have fired her right then. But firing someone isn't always simple. She hadn't done anything fireable by the book, and I wanted to give her a fair chance. That was mistake number 2. The next week, Karen pulled her boldest stunt yet. I got a call from one of my suppliers saying he was confused about the new payment arrangement. When I asked what he meant, he said Karen had contacted him, pretending to be acting manager, and told him all invoices should be rerouted to her personal email. That was fraud. I confronted her immediately, and she didn't even deny it. She smirked and said, "If you don't want to handle things, I will. Honestly, I'm doing you a favor." That was it. Enough was enough. I told her to hand over her apron and that she was done effective immediately. She exploded. "You can't fire me. This place needs me. You'll go under without me." She screamed loud enough that customers turned their heads. But here's where karma stepped in. Unbeknownst to Karen, some of those customers had been watching her attitude for weeks. And the moment she stormed out, slamming the door, one of my regulars leaned over and said, finally, she was ruining this place. Others nodded in agreement. But it didn't end there. A few days later, I got a letter in the mail. Karen had filed for unemployment benefits, claiming she was wrongfully terminated. Not only that, she accused me of discrimination and hostile work environment. That would have been bad if I hadn't been documenting her behavior from the start. Every late shift, every customer complaint, every fake manager stunt I had it all written down, signed by witnesses. My lawyer sent it over, and her claim was denied immediately. Still, Karen wasn't done. One afternoon, I walked into my shop to find her sitting at a corner table, sipping a latte like she owned the place. She stared me down and said loudly to another customer, "This place used to be better when I was running it." I walked over calmly and said, "Karen, you were never running it, and you never will." Then I asked her to leave. That was the last time I saw her. Word spread quickly, and she didn't get another job in the local coffee scene. My business, it thrived. Once Karen was gone, morale skyrocketed, customers returned, and my staff told me straight out, "It feels like home again." Karen thought she could own my business by sheer force of entitlement. Instead, all she owned was her reputation, one she destroyed herself. And me? I learned two valuable lessons. Always trust your gut. Never let a Karen think she's in charge of what you've worked hard to build. Because lazy, entitled workers come and go. But a business built with heart, that lasts.